The following is a Stars and Strikes doubles rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
Stars and Strikes doubles. Stars and Strikes doubles is sponsored in part by Somerville Lumber. Stars and Strikes doubles is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and good afternoon once again, this time from the Londonderry Bowling Center in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. We're so glad you could join us for Stars and Strikes doubles and to spend a little part of your Super Bowl Sunday afternoon with us. We're happy to have you with us. And as we always do here on Stars and Strikes doubles, our annual ladies doubles tournament. So we have 5 teams ready to go, and this is always an interesting format.
Right. Same idea. They roll off singly, and we pair the number 1 finisher with the number 2 and so on, and we'll explain more about that when we get going.
All right, let's meet our 2 teams the first week of our 4-week series of ladies doubles. First of all, our number 5 seeded team from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, Boutotte, and her partner from Concord, New Hampshire, Janet Poch.
Okay, Karen comes in averaging 111, and her roll-off score 558. Janet comes in averaging 121, her roll-off score 554.
Interesting, too, Karen making her first appearance. Janet, of course, has been here several times before.
Yes, but Karen's no stranger to the bowling center. She's a quality Candlepin bowler.
All right, and they'll be facing our number 4 seeded team from Merrimack, New Hampshire, Pat Kerr, and from Nashua, New Hampshire, her partner, Arlene Dinnigan.
Okay, Pat comes in averaging 102, a roll-off score at 567. And likewise at 567 is Arlene, and her average is 103.
And like our 5th place team, we have one show veteran here on Stars and Strikes, and Arlene Dinnigan making her first appearance.
Yeah, it's always tough, those first few boxes being here the first time, but you got a veteran to work with, and should be an interesting matchup.
All right, the prize money, the same as it is for men's doubles here on Stars and Strikes, and we're going to come back and start the first of 3 strings. Don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, before we get the bowling started here on Stars and Strikes doubles, again, here is the way we get our 10 bowlers. Again, as Dan mentioned in the beginning, we have the roll-off. The bowlers compete individually, not as teams, and then we combine them from the top down to the bottom. We take the top 10 bowlers. So Joanne Vandiver and Carol Downey, who finished 1-2, they're our top-seeded team. Then Bev Surratt and Debbie Regan, and then on to our 3rd-seeded team, Vi Byron and Lynn Perrin. And then today's 4 bowlers, Pat Kerr and Arlene Dinnigan, who actually wound up tied in the roll-off, but that doesn't really matter for the purposes of this show because they're paired together on the same team, and Karen Boutotte and Janet Poch. So here are the combined scores. Boutotte and Poch at 11-12, Kerr and Dinnigan at 11-34, and you see on the way up, next week Vi Byron and Lynn Perrin will be here to face the winners of today's match, and then on up the ladder we go till we get to Joanne Vandiver and Carol Downey. So right now we're set to get things going, and Janet Poch, who I guess most would agree, Dan, the most consistent women's bowler on the tour these days. Certainly there's a lot of tough competition, but Janet has done as much winning as anybody.
And Janet's all over the head pin, but leaves herself the 6-10 on the right and the 4-8, which she's probably going to have to play. She could snap the wood in front of the 6-10, but that she's going to try to do. Whoop, just missed the wood. So we're underway with our annual women's doubles.
No, maybe it was there the other way.
Yeah, that was my first choice, but you see she hits the 4-pin, everything dances from left to right.
Janet overall making her 5th appearance here on Stars and Strikes. Just slipping by.
Key to a lot of these matches is to jump out in front right away. Those two things. Gives you the lead, of course, and kind of settles the whole team down. Pair of 10s for Janet Poch. Now our first look at Pat Kerr.
Well, I think we've talked about this before, but the whole aspect of doubles competition, it's kind of like playing doubles in tennis. Sometimes it's even more pressure than competing by yourself. People might say, well, how is that true? Well, it's because you don't, anybody who's played doubles in tennis would understand, you don't want to let down your partner. And there's always that aspect of not wanting to falter for the team instead of just yourself. And so it can be a little bit more pressure.
And Pat starts off with a $9. Interesting start on the approach. He starts to the extreme left. I mean extreme left of the approach.
It's no surprise, I guess, that the two veterans to Stars and Strikes, as far as previous appearances are concerned, are leading off for the respective teams.
That does give them the extra 2 frames in the first game anyways, and they have their choice starting the 3rd game if they wish to keep the rotation. But once they start the rotation, as Doug and I have mentioned a number of times, they have to keep it for the first 2 games.
And Pat Kerr cleans it for a 10, so just 1 pin the difference. And now we'll see the other 2 members of the 2 teams. Here is Karen Boutotte making her first appearance with us here on Stars and Strikes. Right in the pocket for a strike. How about that? First ball.
Well, got rid of the few of the butterflies. Looked like this ball didn't have a chance of hitting the head pin. All of a sudden it broke sharply from right to left, and you see the 4 and 7 last pins going down. Another one right in there.
Watch out! Watch out on the 4 pin.
It's almost a carbon copy of the first one. Everything but the 4 pin.
So much for being nervous.
Nice guide there. Wood was almost directly against the 4 pin, and it was a nice little guide for her to pick up that 4 pin spare on strike, and her debut is an outstanding one, her first 2 frames.
And now Arlene Dinnigan, also her first appearance on Stars and Strikes, and she is right there with a possible spare leave.
The 2 and the 7, and a piece of wood behind the 2 pin. She's got to catch the 2.
Nope. Arlene, the only left-hander in this group. And again, it's still there. An $8. So the early lead for Boutotte and Poch. And Arlene this time will look at something on the right side of the lane, the 3, 6, and 10. Right there for the spare.
So the 2 rookies are ones that put the marks up on the board so far. Now Janet comes up working on the spare, put up by her partner in the 4th.
A little off to the left.
And it's just 4.
And the spare. She almost converted that leave earlier. This time she nails it.
And here you see the replay to make it 3 marks in a row. Strike and 2 spares. Janet's first mark.
And on the head pin this time for a big 8 fill.
Trying to coax the 7 pin over, but it's not going to happen. But she's certainly going to have a shot. She would want that wood to, heard somebody say roll back. I think she wanted it out further.
Well, that might not be. Well,
I don't think so. I think the red line's got to be up a little more to carry the 7.
Ooh, right you are.
I think she wanted to stay high on the plate. I heard someone say roll back. I don't think that's what she wanted. She would rather have it out front. Then you could have a chance to turn it a little more.
Let's check it.
just missing the wood in front of the 7-pin.
Pat Kerr working on a spare left by her partner, and Pat fills with just 2.
She's right against the ball return on lane 30. See her carrying the towel. She mentioned that. We mentioned last time she was on, so we won't mention that she carries that towel this week because she gave us a scolding for dwelling on it. Oh, just a 4 box. Disappointing 4. 43 through 5. 29 pin advantage now for Boutotte and Poch.
To be honest with you, when Pat mentioned it, I had forgotten it because the last time Pat was here was almost 6 years ago.
That ball's right in there, and she wants that 10 pin to get out of there, but she's going to be looking at the 2, 4, 7, and the 10.
Let's see, no, a little too full on the object. And a 9 for Pat.
Make it 52 through 6 and a 30 pin advantage now. Well, let's see if Karen can do any better than she did the first 2 times up.
Oh, my!
As equally as well.
Karen Boutotte, 3 boxes, 3 marks, 2 of them strikes.
This one's got to hurry. A little bit late with that delivery, and it just didn't come back for her, but let's see. They're still falling. Not a bad spare leave. The 1, 2, 9, 10, but she has a piece of wood in front of the 9, 10, which should help her. She's got it. Oh, no. Just full on the head pin. 7 fill on the strike.
99 through 7. And a 7 box. 106 with 2 to go for the team of Boutotte and Poch. Arlene Dinnigan. A little bit full that time. But with the wood coming out, this is looking a little bit better. She'll aim for the 2 pin and see what happens. That is exactly what happens.
Great shot. Great shot. Right on the 2 pin, as Doug said. Watch the wood take the 6, and the ball does the damage on the other 3. Right back in the pocket. This time just a 6 fill. And another difficult spare leave. 3, 6, 4, 7.
Nope, pulled it too much. And how about that? Almost cut it over there. An 8 box. So the difference is still 30 for the team of Poch and Boutotte. And Janet Poch will finish off this first game for her team. A little full, but she'll have a piece of wood kicking down there on the 2, 3, 4, and 6.
That's a situation here where you almost want to miss the 2 pin, hit the 4, and swing the wood around.
Something like that, almost. For the 10. Good opening game for the team of Poch and Boutotte. They've already got 4 marks. And Janet is back on the head pin again and again full. Well, this is interesting, Dan, because early in the match, early in the game, it seemed like Janet was missing the head pin. Now she's made the correction, and she's full.
Going full. Good effort there. She actually touched the 3 pin, trying to split the 3 and the 6, and went too fine.
Now Janet just has to find the happy medium. 8 box, 124. Opening game for the team. And Pat Kerr.
Pat looking at 6 pins, 1 ball left, trying to clean them up. And she goes far left, just the 5. So it's 81 through 9. The lead now jumps to 35.
I mentioned Pat was here the last time in April of 1987. She was teamed in mixed doubles with Pat Pay. And they lost a match to Steve Vadnais and Jackie Sterner, but they were not the only ones.
That's right.
Steve and Jackie rolled off 5 consecutive wins to win that series.
Pat missing the 1-3-6. Disappointing opening game for the team of Kerr and Dinnigan.
A 9-box and a 90. So 1 game in the books here on Stars and Strikes Doubles. The team of Boutotte and Poch with the early lead. We'll be back with more in a minute. All right, game 2, and Arlene Dinnigan will lead it off. The team of Dinnigan and Kerr.
Well, she's back on the head pin, but again, a difficult leave. She shot at this before, the 3-6-4-7. This time a wood coming up. Let's see where that settles down. Be more of a hindrance, I think.
$8.
Half Worcester left. 2 in the 8 pins out of there. Team of Kerr and Dinnigan gotta find the range if they can. How about that? Went by the head pin and clipped the 5 pin out of there.
And it'll be a 7. Karen Boutotte now to lead it off for her team. What an appearance, or what an effort she put in that opening game. Rolled 4 boxes, 2 of them were strikes, 1 spare.
Ball really breaks sharp at the end.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, last 10 feet or so, it really breaks.
She used one of those solid, almost silvery quality bowling balls, the red color, but it has kind of a silverish tint to it, and it's very difficult to tell the spin of the ball as it goes down the lane.
Those are Starline balls from Paramount Industries.
I know them. Well, Karen will have another spare leave.
Big supporters of Candlepin bowling as well as Stars and Strikes.
Bob Perella.
Trying to play the wood. Oh, just sliding by.
But again,
yep,
the ball cut to the left late.
She really has to keep the speed up. If she doesn't, then that ball is going to break even more at the end. But she manages a 10, gains 2 more, increases the lead to 36.
Now Pat Kerr. Hoping to get something started for the team.
Very light hit, and there you see the damage that she didn't do. 5 in the corner and cluster of 5 in the right-hand, left-hand corner in the 10 pin.
$7.
So are you rushing right out of here to your Super Bowl party, Doug, or are you?
Yeah, actually, I'm very excited about the Buffalo Bills. Now, I know last hour I tried to pin you down and you refused to name your pick, and I know that you have an emotional attachment to this game.
Yes, I do. We could make a friendly wager, you know, either your way or the Golden Arches or something. You know? I like my Dallas. Tried to play the wood off the wall in front of the 7 pin to no avail, and leaves just looking at still the 5 and the 10.
Actually, the truth of the matter is that I'm going to be fortunate enough, I guess you could say, to be working tonight, so I'll be able to watch the game and work at the same time, which will be
Well, one of those
fun.
jobs, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I hope Dallas wins, but more importantly, I hope it's a good game.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. 1-4-7-10 for Janet.
Maybe,
Looks
yes.
good.
Fine shot. Right on the target pin. 5th mark for the team of Poch and Boutotte.
Pulled that one a little bit to the left. Lofted it further out in the lane than she normally does. And that usually means it's going left.
Oh, how about this? How about that for a shot?
2 great shots in a row for Janet Poch.
And we will take a break, a timeout here on Stars and Strikes Doubles, and we'll return after these messages. Arlene Dinnigan. Oh, right on the head pin that time, but again, not much to shoot at. And that's been the story for Kerr and Dinnigan so far.
3-6-4-7 most of the time. This time she finally gets a 3-pin down, but she's still looking at the 6-4-7.
$10 for Arlene.
At this point in time, they need marks. A few words to her partner. Maybe some more strategy here. Again, back on the head pin, but let's see. Well, 2-7-10. Piece of wood next to the 2. Also one in front of the 7. Another one behind the 2. She's taking a good look at it.
Let's see if it'll happen for Arlene. Not quite.
Just didn't catch enough of the wood in front of the 2-pin. You can see it twirling around.
Karen Boutotte.
Right back in the pocket. She just loves lane 30.
Karen from Fitchburg. Does a lot of her bowling at the Hub Bowling Center and works as a retail accountant for Purity. And she has got another mark.
That's again 3 marks in a row. Quite a team effort. This time Janice started with 2 and she followed up with 1 of her own. She will fill that one because that was her first frame of the 2 that she'll bowl. Make it 6 on the spare. The 1, 4, 7, and also the 9-pin.
Oh, yes!
Clinic time here.
She can't miss.
4 in a row. That's the head pin come off the wall for the 9 right there. Beautifully done.
Pat Kerr from Merrimack, New Hampshire. Not quite on the spare. Pat and her husband Albert have 5 children: Patty, Becky, Albert Jr., Robin, and Chris. $10 for Pat. Pat does a lot of her bowling right here at the Londonderry Bowling Center and also at Park Place Lanes. Pat works for the U.S. Postal Service. And she is in the pocket this time, leaving the 9, but watch out for the wood.
Finally gets a decent drop off the head pin and gets a terrible piece of wood. Let's see. Nope.
No.
That's what she wanted to do. It's $10, 69 through 8.
Janet working on a spare left by her partner, the team with 4 in a row. Through the middle, 6 fill.
2-4, 3-6. Piece of wood behind the 4-pin.
Oh my! Just missing on the 3-pin.
See, I can't help thinking if she split the 3-6 that way with the wood behind, she would have had a much better chance of making the 2-4. But she had a shot similar to that before and almost cut it over, so she probably felt real comfortable going to the left.
And sometimes that's it, isn't it? With
Yeah.
the bowler can feel more comfortable going
Right.
one way.
If you have a cut shot and you almost make it, it might make up your mind whether you have a choice the next time to go right or left. And I'm sure that was in Janet's mind. This time the 3-6-7.
Not this time. Nine for a 99, and they have added to the lead, which, as you can see, is comfortable. We've seen big leads disappear, but this is a sizable one, and Arlene Dinnigan and Pat Kerr just can't seem to get a break. One box to go for the team of Kerr and Dinnigan here in game 2. And it'll be an 8 box, an 86. And a 2-game total, 176. Karen Boutotte now to finish this game. It's really tough to see on camera, but that ball just darts in toward the head pin in the last 10 or 12 feet.
4-5, 7-8.
Well, now if she had made that, we would have known that it was really her day. After missing it to the right. And that'll be an 8. That'll be an 8 box for Karen. Now see, that time she threw the ball, it was at the head pin right when she released it, and it ended up to the left.
On the 2-pin.
That's more like it. And that close to a spare. And a 10 box, a 117 for the team, and a 2-game total, 241. So a big lead after 2 for Boutotte and Poch. We'll be back with game 3 on Super Bowl Sunday. Thanks. Like to explain to Dan why Buffalo's going to win the Super Bowl. That would be fine too. Or should have to write it this afternoon and just
Hand
get it in the
deliver it.
mail. Yeah, that's right.
Well, they probably will in 1999 or something.
Karen Boutotte leading off for the team of Boutotte and Poch, who have a 65-pin lead after 1 game.
You know who I would like to run into is Don Horner.
Yeah,
You know?
he's been strangely absent
Yes,
since the
I know.
Cowboys' rise to power, hasn't
That's right.
he? Don, a former crew member here on Stars and Strikes, and one of the highlights of the year used to be watching Dan and Don Horner argue about the Steelers and the Cowboys. It was really pathetic, actually, is what it was.
And Karen clears them out for a 9 and 17 start this 3rd game.
Arlene Dinnigan will now begin this 3rd game for her team. Arlene from Nashua, New Hampshire. She and her husband Robert have 2 children, Scott and Charlene. Arlene works for First Eastern Mortgage and does a lot of her bowling at Lita Lanes in Nashua. By the way, I do want to mention that we want to thank our good friends Leon Valcourt and his family over at Sunset Lanes in Newport. They handled the final roll-off for this series.
Oh boy, right in the pocket again, this time the 5-7. I'm 5-10, I should say. And just can't seem to buy a mark.
They've had only the 2 marks in the match, and those were in the first game. Meanwhile, Boutotte and Poch have had 8 marks, and they've clustered them together. They had one cluster of 4 and another of 3. That adds up the score fast. 2 10 boxes for Arlene. Janet Poch, the premier bowlers on the WCBC Women's Pro Tour. Janet does a lot of her bowling at Park Place Lanes in Wyndham and works for New Hampshire Optical Company. Janet is from Concord, New Hampshire, and she gets the diamond for a spare.
Spare in the third from off the ball of Janet Poch. The diamond leave or the bucket, whichever you prefer.
And right there for the fill, 8.
5 and 8 pins left for Janet.
Janet, by the way, I should mention, is half of the defending champion team from women's doubles here on Stars and Strikes. Last year in our first women's doubles series, Janet combined with Janice McIntyre to beat Lynn Perrin and Kathy Fuller by just 3 pins in a terrific match, winning the championship. And it was actually Janet Poch in the final box that won that match, throwing a spare with a 3 fill. She needed only a 1 fill to win it. A very dramatic match to wrap up last year's women's doubles series. Janet Poch and Janice McIntyre were the #1 seeds in that event. Pat Kerr with a 9.
Missing to the left. Trying to clean him up now is Pat Kerr, and she's going to go far to the left again. Just a 6. 35 through 4. You can see the lead at 75 for Boutotte and Poch. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back to finish the match.
Well, Karen Boutotte and Janet Poch are in the driver's seat here as we come down the final 6 frames of this first week in women's doubles. Next week, it'll be Vi Byron and Lynn Perrin coming in to face our winners. Again, mentioned this at the top of the show, but the prize money here in ladies doubles is the same as it is for the men. We will have no Pro Tennis Tour controversies here.
No.
The tennis theme seems to be coming up over and over again. Have you noticed that? And Karen will have a spare leave. Watch out on the 3-pin. If it goes, it'll be the 6-10.
With that sharp break now, let's see if she has trouble getting over to the right-hand side.
Got it.
Played the wood effectively for the 6-10.
The 10th mark for the team of Boutotte and Poch. They're going to have an outstanding triple. Arlene Dinnigan and Pat Kerr, the blue team.
One, 2, 10. Piece of wood in front of the 10. Look, no, in between. A little bit left or right. Had a chance of making that spare. It's one of these matches where you wish you could carry some of the pins over to next week, but unfortunately you can't.
Coming up just a little bit short on the head pin that time. Almost.
Good effort. Cleared away the 4 horsemen on the right, but left the 7 and the 8.
And that'll be an 8. So Janet Poch comes up for her final 2 now as we begin the last rotation, and Janet working on the spare left by her partner. On the head pin, but thin, only a 4 fill.
A little light.
Oh, how about this shot? Oh, just missing on the 5 pin. For the 10. Let's take another look at that. It was a great effort.
It's by the 5 pin, behind the 5 pin. Ball comes behind, wood in front.
Had enough chances. Janet looking to put a mark up in her final box. And again, that close. I'll tell you, I don't know what it is about the month of January, but it just seems like everybody you talk to has some sort of cold or flu or virus of some kind, and I know you've been battling it, and Arlene Dinnigan actually was saying before the show that she really has been fighting it as well, feeling a little bit under the weather.
But we're both here.
That's right, toughing it out. Oh. Pat Kerr now for her final 2.
I guess that 7 pin kind of sums up their day. Rocking back and forth, but just doesn't want to fall.
Let's see if Pat can get a conversion here. Nope. It's been a long dry spell for the team of Kerr and Dinnigan between marks. That'll be a 7.
Just trying to help them out there.
I'm sure they appreciate it.
Wouldn't you know? Well, a few times they probably missed the head pin with the first ball, and she got a decent break of 7. And looking at the 1, 8, and 10, wood behind should help. She catches the head pin.
No, do you believe
kidding? It? Wow. Not to be today.
Here it is again. This about sums up the day.
Right here, I thought she had a shot at making it, and it just slid off.
Karen Boutotte.
Two and 7 left for Karen. Her final 2.
And it'll be an 8.
Looked good going down, but again, sharp break at the end. Came in a little full in the head pin. 2, 4, 6, 10 left for Karen. Ooh, just sliding by the 2.
And it'll be a 7 for a 102, a 343 for the team of Boutotte and Poch. They will advance to face our number 3 seeded team, Byron and Perrin, next week. Arlene Dinnigan now for her final two. Arlene trying to get them both. Say that would have been the appropriate spot to get a strike.
I was just going to say, watch. Now here we go, last box, and they're all going to go finally for it, but no, right through the middle, 1, 5, and 8. And the 6, and the 4.
A 5 and 82.
Wow.
Kerr and Dinnigan having a struggle today. Boutotte and Poch put the hammer down early, and they win this one. 343 to 258. We'll be back to talk to the bowlers and set you up for next week here on Stars and Strikes Doubles. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Londonderry Bowling Center. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy in our first week of ladies doubles in the books. And what can you say? Just one of those days for Pat and Arlene. They just couldn't seem to get a break, and Karen and Janet really put the hammer down very early.
you know, anyone's been around the game as long as these ladies have. That happens, and the more you try, the worse it seems to get. And then on top of it, you get the other team get hot and throw 3 or 4 marks. So now you even press even more. And it's just a snowballing effect, and nothing you can do turns out to be right.
Well, I'm sure the last thing Pat and Arlene want to do is come up and talk about it, but we'll have them come on up anyway. Come on up. But I do have some checks for you, so that's the good news. Pat, congratulations, and Arlene, why don't you swing right in here close so we can get you on camera, and congratulations again for making it, and you too, Arlene. I know it wasn't, why don't you slide right in here, Arlene, so that we can get you on camera.
Okay.
I know it wasn't your day exactly, but it was just one of those things. Just Janet and Karen were on, and they got the big lead.
That's true. They made some super shots. I must say that picking up those spares that they had, and we just went on. That's all.
Yeah.
Some days you have it, and some days you don't.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you have your voice back.
Yes.
Well, it's like the song, some days are diamonds, some days are stones, and this turned out to be a rock.
I hadn't heard that song before. Who does that song?
I don't know, but it's an old one from way back because it would take an older person to remember it.
Well, thanks very much for coming in, and it's good to see you as always. And Arlene, we hope to see you again real soon. And Pat, don't stay away so long this time.
We're going to try to make it shorter than 6 years.
All right. Congratulations. Thanks very much. Congratulations, ladies. We appreciate it. And now let's call up Janet Poch and Karen Boutotte, who came up with the 343 today to get the win. And Karen, first appearance. Congratulations, Janet. Old hat for you, I suppose, but nice win for both of you. Obviously, you weren't real nervous. You got up, strike, first ball.
The second ball I was really nervous, but the first ball I wasn't too bad on. Didn't bother me. The second ball I was more nervous, but after that I kind of calmed down, and then I started to lose my ball. But
Dan and I were talking during the show, Janet, about the fact that sometimes it's tougher to bowl doubles than it is singles because you feel more pressure because you don't want to let the other person down. This was one of those matches where you both were able to hit the marks, and you split it pretty much evenly, and you were both bowling well.
Yeah, it's nice to have a partner that gets you off on the right foot when she gets up there first time on TV. So it took a little pressure off of me, and she bowled really well.
But that can be true, I think. We compared it to like playing doubles in tennis. I mean, you don't want to let your partner down, and it's kind of added pressure, not just for yourself but for your partner too.
yeah, it helped a lot.
Well, next week, I know the two ladies that are coming in, both of you know real well, Vi Byron and Lynn Perrin. We'll be looking for you to come back with another terrific match. Congratulations.
Thank you. Should be a good match.
All right, Janet and Karen, again, congratulations. Thanks very much. The 343, and they'll be trying to make it 2 in a row. You can have a seat, and we'll set you up for next week's show here on Stars and Strikes Doubles. Again, we'll, of course, be with you at 12 noon for our second week in mixed doubles, and then here at 1 o'clock, we'll have our second week of ladies doubles. That is, it'll be Karen Boutotte and Janet Poch looking for 2 in a row. Vi Byron and Lynn Perrin, both of whom have been here before will be providing the opposition next week.
Yeah, both veteran Candlepin bowlers, and it should be a good matchup. It's interesting that I don't think they're going to get a match like they did this time, so be interesting to see how they hold up when the match is a little closer.
All right, one more thought on the Super Bowl before we leave.
Put your money on Dallas.
Oh, I don't know. See, I don't buy a lot of this NFC stuff. You know, everybody's saying, well, Dallas coming out of the NFC, the better team. See, my opinion is that Dallas won their Super Bowl 2 weeks ago, and Buffalo is a lot hungrier than Dallas is. That's what I base my opinion on. That and a bunch of other things, but I just like the Bills a lot.
That's why your pockets are going to be empty and mine are going to be full.
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Enjoy the game later today, everybody. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you next week here on Stars and Strikes Doubles. Don't forget to join us at noon for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, Doug Brown, so long from the Londonderry Bowling Center.